Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Monday edition of Pro Line with Jim Feist. I'm Dave Koken. We've got plenty to talk about, and we'll get right to it. Weekend highlights. Jim, I know you had a good day yesterday in the NFL.
Yeah, the NFL bailed me out for the weekend. I had one college basketball game for the weekend. I'll have, obviously, a full card now. With the weekends, I focus at this time of year on football. Have to. There's enough action out there for everybody. But now it's really cranking up the basketball. Saturday was a very bad day for everyone, pretty much in football, college football. Interesting games, but it had a lot of upsets for the. I'm sure the bookmakers did very well. Sunday, we have the same upside down league. You got the haves and the have-nots, and I did pretty well with it. My biggest loser was the Buffalo Bills, which was the strongest pick in the Westgate contest was Buffalo Bills, but they never showed up. And I guess the people that said, look out for Buffalo, they're real. I don't know what what we were all, and I was part of them. I was one of them. I don't know what they were talking about or myself because they looked like trash. Now, hats off to the Saints. After losing the first two games, they've won 7 in a row, and they're playing very well. Different team. They play much better defense, and they run the ball extremely well. And Drew Brees is there. He's still playing well. It's not the 50 passes a game, but doing extremely well. And you move on to some of the teams that are playing well. They talk about Case Keenum as being a fill-in. Well, let me tell you something. Case Keenum is a good quarterback, and he can play. If they don't like him in Minnesota, I think there'll be a lot of people who want him because you can talk about Bradford, and you can talk, and it's a great story with Bridgewater coming back, and that's emotional because the injury that he had, they thought he might even lose his leg, and now 2 years later, he's back on the bench and is a backup to Case Keenum. I don't think they need him because Case is playing extremely well. The Jaguars, they're playing well on defense. School's still out on Bortles, but they won this one in overtime against the Chargers. Both teams tried to lose the game in the regulation. Not championship clubs, but good enough clubs to to make the game interesting. The Titans, they win. But and they're 6-3, but they're not impressive. And I'm not too sure if you want to get involved with this team when they're a favorite because they just don't create margins. The Saints, we talked about dominating performance. The Falcons finally put together a good game, but you got to wonder about the Cowboys. They start the game off with a 7-0 lead and then never score again. And, you can't really put that totally on the Falcons' defense. They don't play defense that well. They're only marginal, but the Cowboys just couldn't get it done. You could lay it on Ezekiel Elliott not being there, but I don't think that's valid because their left tackle was out. One guy alone had 7 sacks on Dak Prescott. And I think the Dallas coaching staff did a miserable job in making adjustments to stop that. And, I just question some of the coaching and the officiating in the league. It's horrible. But, Dave, I know you didn't have a banner week, but you've been coming off a really good run coming into the weekend, but this weekend was a little spotty for you.
Yeah, it was lousy, is what it was. You can't call it any different than that. It's done well lately, but not this weekend. So we'll just get back on track. I've got a big game that I like, in college football. I've already posted it. I think this is a really good play, and it goes on Friday. Make sure and get the game. It's just $25. And this game will be a winner. There's no question about that in my mind. I feel strongly about this game as I have about any game I've seen this year.
Well, we both track these games from the beginning, before the beginning of the season, and at this point in time, there are some teams that we know very well, and we actually know them better than the odds makers do, because they are teams that maybe we have focused on, and I do the same thing in college basketball as well. You can't really beat the whole board, but you can beat a conference or a game here. Then you just have to pick your spots and do a good job with that. So yeah, it's been it was a rough weekend for me in college football. The pros were good, except the Buffalo Bills was I don't know what I was thinking, but anyway, and then of course I had Cleveland. My two losers were there. Cleveland won the whole game. Buffalo never even showed up. They never got off the bus. But Cleveland does what Cleveland does. They get the lead. They play decent for a while, and then of course they give it up. But they haven't. I mean, they're pretty consistent at least. They've won one game out of the last 30. So that's pretty good. That's pretty good for Cleveland. That's a good record. But anyway, Dave, we both have a lot of good stuff coming up this weekend. I have already looked at the pro card, and I'm going to bring up something. This is kind of interesting. I mentioned it earlier when I was talking to Hank. If I would have told you that there would be a team that would go to New York Giants on a Sunday afternoon in November and be a 13-point favorite at the Giants, you would have, if I had said that back in August, at the beginning of September, you would have said, Jim, you're out of your mind. Well, I probably would have been out of my mind at that time. But the Kansas City Chiefs opened this morning a 13-point favorite at the New York Giants for this coming Sunday. And that just tells you how bad and how top-heavy this league is right now. The teams at the bottom of this league are absolutely atrocious. Absolutely, and they barely. I'm not even sure they could beat it. I know that the quality athlete is there, but the coaching and everything that goes with it. I mean, Denver is horrible. Absolutely horrible. And how they got to this point is really beyond me. But Kansas City opened a 13-point favorite this morning at the New York Giants, and that tells the whole story. What you need to do. And how about the Jacksonville Jaguars? Opened a 7.5-point favorite at Cleveland. That's right. These teams are just, the good teams are okay. They're not great, but the bad teams are really, really bad. That's what we got this year, Dave. And league go in up and down motion, and they got good years and bad years. And this year, we got half the league, at least, in the NFL. It is pretty pathetic. But there are some good teams. There are some teams that are playing extremely well. Philadelphia is one of them. New England, of course, as usual, is playing extremely well. Minnesota Vikings is playing well. The Rams and the Vikings play this weekend. That's going to be an excellent game for quality, football. That's excellent. So we do have some good stuff coming up. Dave and I will have some great plays in college hoops, pro hoops, and football. So you just go to VegasSportsMasters.com or JimFeist.com. Our picks will be up there each and every day, and you can get involved with us. And I guarantee you, in the long run, you will win more than you lose. Dave, anything you want to close out with?
No, I'm done. I'm actually already working on college basketball while we speak, and hopefully we'll get things rolling and have some great stuff to talk about tomorrow.
All right, guys. Thank you, and we'll see you all tomorrow.